Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing all the things going on with Delta Force and sort of my final thoughts regarding the Delta Force Alpha. It's almost been out for a month at this point, and they've actually already announced when the alpha test is going to be ending and a farewell festival for it. So this will be a pretty all-encompassing video with a lot of information. If you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I upload regularly, and I also stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. What I'm streaming nowadays is I'm probably losing my absolute mind, slamming my head against the wall, playing the new Call of Duty, which is honestly one of the worst experiences I've ever subjected myself to. So definitely swing by the stream, because, wow, it's been interesting. I will cover the new information regarding Delta Force first. The ending date for the alpha is going to be September 8th. For those of you that are unaware, they've already announced another early access period that's going to be taking place sometime in October, and the tentative PC release window is going to be Q4 2024, with console releasing sometime after that. If you haven't managed to get your hands on Delta Force, they did state in this post they're going to be giving away an additional 300,000 Steam keys past August 30th, and the final round of Twitch drops will take place on September 4th. So if you haven't played and you want a key, definitely come by the stream on September 4th. I will definitely be streaming when the drops are taking place. Other than that, what Delta Force is doing with this quote-unquote farewell festival for the alpha is very similar to Battlefield 2042 and their events. In fact, there are events that are going to be taking place during these last few days we get to play the alpha, with skins and new modes and new events and all that sort of thing. And that's really impressive because, once again, the game isn't out. This is an alpha, and they're doing this stuff. Imagine when the game releases. Some of the events and bonuses include double XP and multiple different events. One is called Siege Mode, the other one is called Blitz Mode. I'm sure we'll get more information as we get closer to that releasing. But my overall thoughts about Delta Force, at least what I've experienced, are actually really positive, which I'm really happy to say. I've obviously started playing it a little less just because I'm playing against AI, which I don't find to be particularly engaging, on top of the fact that I'm just playing AI on the same two maps over and over again. So I have gotten bored, but the reason why I'm bored isn't because of the gameplay. It's because of AI. That's the most obvious problem, and I've spoken about this in previous videos. They just need to remove the AI from the Havoc Warfare, and that'll pretty much guarantee the game is a banger. And that is even with a lot of the very evident problems in the game. But the good news is the evident problems are not utterly catastrophic. I think that's what we're used to in Battlefield games. You know, you have a problem in Battlefield, it's like, oh, you can't jump in a tank because if you get out of it, the tank will blow up, killing everyone inside of it. Like crazy bugs like that. But no, that's not really the case in Delta Force. In Delta Force, the problems are like screen shake or flinch, or quality of life things like being able to customize your weapon in-game or equip attachments without going to the main menu. That really does make up the bulk of the problems in Delta Force, and these things can be easily ironed out, and I certainly hope they do iron them out because they're really obvious. Now, some more complicated issues are present in Delta Force. After playing these maps for what has to be at this point 300 or 500 different games, I do have to say that they are not as good as I initially thought they were. I'm not a fan of them. I would say overall they're probably both 5.5 or like 6 out of 10, maybe like 6.5 out of 10 if I'm being really generous. And that's, of course, an aggregate score combining like my ratings for both Conquest and the Breakthrough mode. If I had to rate them purely on Breakthrough, some of the defense experiences I've had playing on these maps are just unbearable. You can't really defend a lot of these sectors sometimes. What feels impossible really turns out to be impossible sometimes. And I think that is simply because the attackers just have so much pressure on some of these areas. They have insane high ground, they have head glitches all the time, and the vehicles have better positioning on the attacking side. Overall, I do hope to see better maps get released as Delta Force progresses, but if this is the quality we can expect, you know, it's not 2042 level, which is definitely great, but it's also one of those things where it's not really hard to make maps that are better than 2042, is it? One of the other glaring issues is the fact that this game is free to play, so cheaters are just going to run rampant, right? So far, I have to say, they've been doing quite a good job at banning cheaters. I have only ever seen one cheater in all of my playtime in Delta Force. They regularly tweet ban waves on Twitter, so at least for this play session, it seems like they're doing a good job with cheaters. And I sincerely hope that continues to be the case moving forward, because we all know from playing Battlefield is not a free-to-play game, and that game is infested with cheaters, and EA does nothing. So if Delta Force can do a better job banning cheaters while their game is free-to-play than EA, which puts their game behind a paywall, I'm just going to laugh. And the last thing I'll mention, which I think definitely needs to be discussed, is the gunplay of Delta Force. I have mentioned this in previous videos, and I really have thought about this a lot, and I've experienced a lot of the gunplay in game, and, you know, getting beamed from 100 meters and doing the beaming from 100 meters. I do think the gunplay proposes severe balance problems, and the really only way to do it is implement some sort of mechanic that reduces engagement distance. And unfortunately, guys, this mechanic is called spread. That's just the harsh reality. In my opinion, you really can't increase the recoil on a lot of the weapons in Delta Force, because then the game becomes inaccessible for a lot of people. You can't put PUBG level recoil control in a game as casual as Battlefield or Delta Force. It's just simply not going to work. Your player base will complain. But if you implement the correct solution, in my mind, which is spread, basically just emulating Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 style gunplay, where you burst at a certain period when your weapon gets inaccurate, it's extremely easy to understand, but for some reason, a lot of people don't seem to be able to grasp the concept of spread and what it actually does in video games. People seem to have this misconception that spread is random and completely uncontrollable and just totally ruins the game. But at the same time, they love Battlefield 4 and they love Battlefield 3. And those games are so nostalgic for them a lot of the time. And I just never really understand it because, again, spread and burst firing as a mechanic really solves all the problems here in Delta Force. It would reduce the engagement distances, which is what the game really needs. It would add a skill gap, right? Bursting, you know, it would be a small sort of skill gap, but it would add a mechanic for players to utilize. And adding spread would do all of that while also keeping the recoil the same, and I think the recoil right now is at a comfortable level where it's not too high and it's not too low. I definitely think it provides a bigger challenge to people than Call of Duty or Battlefield gunplay, but it's not so impossible that it's like, I don't know, Tarkov or PUBG or some other game with crazy recoil. And some people are confused why I think the gunplay is a problem at all, so allow me to explain. This is obviously a very multifaceted and complex problem. So when you have ARs and SMGs beaming people out to extreme distance, it really makes the game play much differently than it should. These weapons are supposed to have a maximum effective distance. Obviously, if you're insane or if someone's standing still, you can tap fire someone out to like 300 meters with an AR. You can still kill them, but you're not really supposed to be able to full auto people out to 100 meters or 170 meters like I got with an AR, the QBZ, or with the SMG-45. I have gotten a 120 meter kill with that gun. And it's an SMG. So it just completely throws balance totally off. And then when you combine this with the fact that Delta Force has insane head glitching, this just amplifies the problem because now you're getting beamed by someone that is head glitching barely visible 100+ meters away. So what this ends up doing is, say you're holding a flag position down and there are 3 separate levels of, let's say, cover you can be shot from that are 20 meters away, 50 meters away, and 100 meters away. That means that all of these weapons can kill you from all of those separate distances. When, let's say, an SMG is only supposed to be effective at 30 or 40 meters, that SMG can kill you from 100 meters. So it literally changes the entire way you're supposed to play the game, and it means that you can die from anywhere at any time almost instantly across the map. That is bad for gameplay. It simply is. And again, the way to fix this is to implement a mechanic in the gunplay that reduces engagement distance and that is called spread. Implement burst firing. It would be extremely easy to understand, and it would actually feel really good in Delta Force's gunplay. I think people underestimate how good it would feel because there's no suppression. But that is going to wrap up my final impressions of the Delta Force alpha test. I really do think this game has a fantastic chance to be the first legitimate Battlefield competitor we have seen in a very long time. It has great bones. The changes they need to make, in my opinion, are extremely obvious. And to make matters even better for Delta Force, there is absolutely no Battlefield competition in sight at the moment. They have the entire attention of all of the Battlefield player base, everyone that has been dejected and depressed about Battlefield when Delta Force releases at the end of 2024, and then for console players a little bit after that. I genuinely believe that if they make the correct changes, it will succeed in a large way. And for the first time in a very long time, I think I have a game that I can legitimately be actively excited and interested in. I want to see what happens next. I think you guys want to see what happens next. I think this game has really captivated a lot of people in its alpha state. I mean, it's really something we haven't seen in quite a long time. So definitely let me know what you think in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitch and YouTube because I do multi-stream, if you did not know, ladies and gentlemen. Also, check out my new Metafy group. It is basically a Patreon. For those of you that want to support me with a little extra something a month and you want to receive extra benefits, this would be great for you. You get things like weekly YouTube shoutouts, guaranteed VIP in my Twitch chat, behind-the-scenes look at content, and bloopers. So definitely check out the Metafy group. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.